So, first of all, thank you for inviting me to this amazing event. I felt really honored to be a keynote speaker here with other awesome speakers. And today I'm going to share you with 4 recipes to boost your data science journey. First of all, who am I? I'm not the best and I'm not successful yet. I'm just a learning data scientist from Indonesia. Maybe you have more years of experience than me, while I'm just graduated from my undergraduate study major in math. Yeah, this year I'm 22 years old. But as Steve Jobs said, stay hungry and stay foolish. So, I really hope this talk will be beneficial for you. As the background, I want to share my journey up to now. This is not to show off my achievements, but to make you realize that age is just a number. When you have grit and hard work, you can achieve anything you dream. Of course, I still haven't achieved my long-term goals, and now I'm also still working to achieve that. But I'm super excited to share with you what my little steps I already took, and want to share with you what I've learned up to now. In August 2016, it was the first day of my uni life. I was enrolled in Bandung Institute of Technology. It is one of the public universities in Indonesia. During my first year, my time mostly filled only for studying the courses in the university. But hard work paid. 1 year later, when the new batch of accepted students are welcomed by the rector, I was awarded as the most outstanding first-year student. It was a quite honorable and memorable experience for me. And starting from that moment, I pushed myself to also active outside from the academic field. I joined mass organization, whether it is inside or outside of my campus. I learned a lot of soft skills from the organizations I joined. And funny story, I joined 4 organizations in my 4th semester, where I'm responsible as the lead or head in all of those 4 organizations. The interesting part is, when I'm pushed into those tight schedule, my academic performance is not decreasing. And it turns out that it pushed me to manage my time effectively and learn to prioritize things. As the results, in my 4th semester with 4 organizations I joined, I still maintain a 4.0 GPA. Up to that time, I still don't know what career path should I take, but I want to have a job experience to give me directions. Equipped with the organizational experience I got, I tested my luck at Traveloka. It is an online travel agent unicorn from Indonesia. So luckily, I accepted at Traveloka and I got my first working experience there. I was assigned as the marketing technologies intern in the SEO team, the search engine optimization team. I was exposed to the work that didn't need my mathematical skills a lot. I'm not seeing much number, and I said, I do love the analytical thinking needed in my job. I also do love those business terms and business process I learned. But I realized that this type of work is not for me. I can't really enjoy working without any number. And it was a very good timing because data science started to hype at that time, at least in my circle. So I started to learn about data science from my friend, learn from the online courses by myself. And the first online course I took was the machine learning course taught by Andrew Ng in Coursera. I joined my first data science competition with my friends, and the first competition is totally failed. We don't know what to do and just try our best to solve it and submit it to the committee. And as expected, the result is not good. But I start to fall in love with data science starting from that. Because we can exploit the power of data to gain insights or even predict what's going on in the future. And of course, applied my mathematical skills on it. So if you're curious how I jumped into this field initially, I'm not planning it at all. I'm exposed to data science because I'm not comfortable in a work that is not involved with many numbers. I also start to join many internship and competitions after that. My first data-related internship was at Tokopedia. So Tokopedia is an Indonesian technology company specializing in e-commerce. There, I learned a lot about customer segmentation. My Python skills also grow exponentially during my internship there. And after graduated from Tokopedia, I learned many things. But the most dominant skills I got is my Python coding skills, the art of data visualization, and communication skills. After Tokopedia, I also joined as an intern at Do It and Clue Smart City. So I learned a lot about credit scoring when I was an intern at Do It. It is a fintech startup from Indonesia. And I learned a lot about computer vision in Clue Smart City. It was an AI-focused startup. I also joined some local and international competitions, some resulting in victory, some not. But the main important thing is I learned a lot. I truly learned a lot from those competitions. And thanks to the information spread in one of my organization group, in April 2020, I got the chance to join as a data science consultant at the World Bank. I'm working on an NLP project. It was a topic discussion monitoring through social media data regarding COVID-19 in Indonesia. So we monitor what are the topics discussed by the Indonesian citizens in social media, how's the evolution of the topics, how's the sentiment, and many more. I don't have any picture during my work in World Bank, since from the first day, we're already working from home. So here you go. This is my everyday work desk. Maybe you ask, when is my first exposure to the NLP field? So, actually my first exposure is during my work on my undergraduate thesis. It's about stock market prediction, which use both historical stock data and sentiment analysis from social media. As a person who always strive for the best, I want to max out my undergraduate thesis work. So, I try to make a paper from my thesis with my lecturer. And luckily, the paper is presented at one of the Data Science International Conference, and it is published in the IEEE several days ago. Finally, I was graduated from my campus in July 2020. And now, I'm still working as a data science consultant at the World Bank, and also joined an awesome supportive community as a blog author, where Tom Ives as the co-founder. I also spend some time to become data science mentor each week, and also share my knowledge to the LinkedIn community. Now you know about me and my whole journey. Actually, all of the materials in this talk are based on my experiences. But now, I want to make it more explicit, so that you can receive the learning more clearly, and hopefully, you can have a more exciting and meaningful journey. So there are 4 important lessons I got through my short experiences. I believe these important lessons, or what I name by recipe, can help you to boost your data science journey. They are constantly upgrading your skills, gaining experiences, active in community, and you yourself. Let's start with the first recipe, skills. There are 2 ways to constantly upgrading your skills, in my opinion. They are continuous learning and conducting side projects. In this internet era, you can learn anywhere, anytime, and anything you want. You can exploit resources effectively to build a strong theory and concept foundation on data science. And continuous learning is an important thing to do. I believe many of you also realize how important this activity is, especially if you already jumped into the data science field. But if you haven't realized, then you know now. You can read paper, revisit your notes about basic theory, learn new skills, continuous learning. You can also build some Excel sheet like this. It can be used to monitor your learning progress. It doesn't have to be specific like this. You can adjust it with your learning plan. And this learning plan is built by the one and only Tom Ives, which is posted in the Integrated MLAI blog. You can read more about this in that blog. Okay, learning the theory is great, but you also have to practice it, right? Yes, you can practice it in your job, but your work in your job is not always fit with your interests, because you have to meet your boss expectation or the team OKR, the objective key results. So, there's other way to constantly upgrading your skills. That is by conducting side projects. And this is my favorite. Why? Because besides on gaining new skills, we can also have fun and gain notoriety. How? Quite straightforward. You have to consider some aspects, execute it, create a clean documentation, publish your code in GitHub, write article about your project, and showcase it to the world. I've told you before the first step is to consider some aspects. But what are those aspects? Remember, this is your own side projects. No expectation from a boss or OKR target to be achieved. Make sure that you build something that is really interests you. It can be one of the field in data science that you are interested in, or any real-life applications that excites you. As in conducting any projects, there will be some constraints. How's the availability of the data? Is it available publicly or should you collect by yourself? And also, how about the skills required? Is this project required skills out of your current skill set? Or can you just apply your current skill set to build this project? If new skill set is needed, then you should learn again from the scratch. And that's part of the continuous learning. Most of the time, I made a decision about those 2 constraints based on the time required. Me personally don't want to spend a lot of time in conducting only one project, but again, it's up to your preference. I also said earlier that your project must be something that you are interested in. But sometimes there are other person who already built that kind of project. And should you just forget your project idea? I don't think so. In my opinion, it's okay if your project is not unique. But the important thing is, it should be has some additional creativity touch. I've made a project about mosaic image generator recently. I know there are some decent Python packages to generate mosaic image, but I still built my own mosaic image generator because I made it from scratch, and that's the creativeness I offer. The next one is my favorite aspect, the Pareto principle. If you already know what this principle is, then it's good for you. But if you don't know yet, Pareto principle tells us to spend 20% of your energy to achieve 80% of the results. The other name of this principle is 80-20 rule. So, during conducting my side projects, I always think, have I applied Pareto principle? Have I already spent my lowest effort to give the highest quality output? By applying this, you can save your time and your energy in conducting your side projects. The last aspect is usefulness. Why I put this in last order? Because sometimes I felt like your side projects doesn't have to be useful. You don't really have to think about what's the use case of your project. You can build anything you love and have fun with it. But it's better if your project is useful for you. And it's even better if it is also useful for many people. So those are two ways you can do on how to constantly upgrading your skills. Let's move to the second recipe, that is gaining experiences. What did I learn and realize up to now? Experiences can you give the direction of what kind of works that are not suitable for you. And what I mean by experiences here is not only about professional working experience. You can join voluntary work as well, or join a community as a mentor. And if you're a student, I strongly suggest you to have at least an internship experience. You can learn many knowledge just from one internship. Of course, you have to make sure that you're given a responsibility and not underestimated by your manager. Work experiences also taught us the super valuable skills, soft skills, communication, presentation, teamwork, leadership, and many more. Besides that, you can also meet many new supportive colleagues and exposure to the real-life data science use case, which can be an idea for your side projects. Okay, let's move to the third recipe. In my opinion, many people sometimes look down on this one. It is active in community. Why do I recommend you to be active in the community? A community can be your support system to help you achieve many things. Get jobs, opportunities, gaining new knowledge, and found many inspirational people to force you to become a better person every day. A community can also be your place to giving back from what you have all now, whether sharing your side projects, share beneficial contents, or even giving a talk. Remember that the more you give, the more you get. So when you are giving back to the community, it seems like you only give what you know to others. But if you see the after effect from that, you realize that actually you gain more. The last but the most exciting is to meet many new friends. So where to find a community? I suggest you to start on LinkedIn. In this pandemic situation where many people are working from home, we can't do the conventional meeting anymore, but it just gives us more benefit. Even now, we can meet many people from all around the world. I think now I have much more friends from LinkedIn rather than my offline friends. You can also follow data science influencers in LinkedIn. They often share updates or interesting innovation in data science field. They also often share their thoughts about the development in AI. And those listed names are some of the influencers I know. Once you follow them, you can know the other influencers again because sometimes they also comment on the other one. I suggest you to screenshot this slide and then start to follow them in LinkedIn after this talk. I will wait for 5 seconds for you to screenshot this. Okay, I hope you already screenshot this slide. And finally, the most important recipe is you yourself. If you already start or implementing what I said before, then it's good for you. But if you haven't, you have to start now. Idea or plan without execution worth nothing. Start with upgrading your skills. Of course, there will be many obstacles you have to face. This will not be a seamless journey. Myself also have faced many rejections, but the most important thing is how you face that obstacle. And my suggestion is to have a mindset that thinks everything happens with a reason. I will connect the dots better as time goes on. And for now, I need to keep doing my best and to stay motivated. Last but not least, no one will know you if you haven't introduced yourself. Start to do personal branding. Tell the world who you are, what is your interest, what are you capable of. I start this by sharing the result of my side projects to LinkedIn. Believe me, you will get many unexpected opportunities from the LinkedIn community. So to summarize, there are four main recipes that can help you to boost your data science journey. Constantly upgrading your skills, gaining experiences, active in community, and you yourself. Okay, so conducting side projects already become one of my hobbies. And one of my favorite projects is about the AI power portfolio. So what I did in this project is I embed my personal AI assistant in my portfolio. Okay, sorry for the lag of the internet. Okay, so actually I want to show you, yeah. So this is the user interface of my web portfolio. You can ask almost anything about me to the assistant in a complete sentence. And my personal AI assistant will try to answer your query. It takes some time for my assistant to answer your first query because he just awake from a deep sleep. Or in a technical language, the model is still loaded. Yeah, that one, the assistant already answered my query. So the initiation of this project is because I feel my portfolio is too static. I want to show that I'm currently into NLP and I know a lot of chatbot applications available out there, but none of them is applied in the personal website. So I decided to build one because it's unique. And in this session, I will give a demo on how to build this kind of portfolio. And for your information, you all will be the first one to see how I develop this personal AI assistant. Okay, let's move to demo. So in high level, the personal AI assistant works like this. A user gives a query to the personal AI assistant. Then it will choose the best responses amongst all of the possible responses listed. And how to choose using some scoring. If the scoring is below some threshold, then the assistant will answer that he don't know what you mean. There are 7 steps to build the personal AI assistant. The first one is to install Semantic Reactor add-on from the G Suite Marketplace. So Semantic Reactor is an add-on from Google which can be edited in your Google Sheets. This add-on provides you with the pre-trained NLP models that are ready to be exploited for your experiment. You can use those models for Q&A tasks or measure the semantic similarity. And specifically for our use case, it will be exploited for the Q&A tasks. How to install it? It's really simple. You can go to that link or by searching Semantic Reactor in Google, then just install the add-on using your Google account. After you install the Semantic Reactor add-on, you can open your Google Sheets, then list down all of the possible responses. What I mean by possible responses is the responses that your AI assistant is capable to answer. Then you can start the Semantic Reactor add-on. So in the left, you can see some of my possible responses that I wrote down. It's important for you to come up with all of the possible questions first in your mind. Once you already did that, you can list all of the possible responses for each of the question. My suggestion is to think what are the questions you will ask by the recruiter during your interview, or questions that many people are curious about you. Of course, make it bounded in the professional field, since this is your professional personal web page. And once you already listed all of the possible responses, you can start the Semantic Reactor add-on just like the screenshot in the right side. The fourth step is to use the local model and the input or response rank method. So, as you can see, there are several model options provided by the add-on, but we will use the local model since it is the same model with the one we will use in the deployment phase. Of course, your first set of possible responses more likely will not give a best result. Maybe you will meet a lot of wrong responses from a given query. And of course, we want to minimize the number of wrong responses. We actually can try to do transfer learning from the pre-trained model in our own dataset. But for this case, I think it's wiser to only just refine our possible responses than try to do the transfer rather than trying to do the transfer learning. So you can try to refine it for each of the listed queries until you see it's good enough. So this is the visual during you try to give a query to the Semantic Reactor add-on, and the model will gives you the response along with the score. Once you're confident with your list of possible responses, you can use that list in the deployment phase. So the local model in the Semantic Reactor add-on is actually a universal sentence encoder light model, and we will use the same model in the deployment. How you do that? You can simply load the TensorFlow JS and the use light model in your JavaScript CDN. Then you can copy and paste all of the possible responses you have chosen. This is a snapshot of the code. So it chose the most suitable response by computing the cosine similarity. Then, if the cosine similarity score is below some predefined threshold, if the cosine similarity is below some predefined threshold, the model will return a template message which basically says that it doesn't know the response to that query. Okay, so this demo only provides the very high-level explanation. I will make the detailed explanation in the blog post soon. I will also share the full code on how to build this personal AI assistant in my blog post. And almost all of the code actually is from these references. So stay tuned and make sure you follow my Medium account if you want to know more. I will also post it on my LinkedIn when I've made the article, hopefully by next week. And lastly, if you want to interact with my personal AI assistant by yourself, you can just scan that QR code in the very right side. Thank you for your attention and your time to attend my talk. Hopefully you get at least one beneficial things from this session.